wondered why your homemade cookies don't look perfectly round like the Instagram-worthy pictures or the YouTube videos that you're watching? I'm Lindsay from My Better Batch, and the answer to that question might be easier than you think. There are so many things that could affect the outcome of your homemade cookies, but how you place your cookies on the cookie sheet really does have an impact on how they come out of the oven. To drop, to shape, or to scoop? That is the question. Plus, I'll share a trick for how to shape up your cookies after they've come out of the oven. First, to drop. There's a lot of recipes that call for you to drop the cookie dough right onto the cookie sheet. And this is really simple. The most common drop cookie is the chocolate chip cookie, and today we're working with chocolate chip cookie dough. The neat thing about a drop cookie is you really don't need anything special, just a spoon or two. All we're gonna do is take our spoon, I'm using a teaspoon, and we're just gonna drop the spoonful of dough right onto the cookie sheet. A lot of times these drop cookies don't actually drop on their own, and so you're either gonna use your finger, like I'm doing, or you can use a second spoon if you don't wanna touch it with your finger, to just simply take the cookie dough and drop it onto your cookie sheet. Here are the pros of the drop cookie. It doesn't require any special tools, just a spoon, and it keeps your hands clean, assuming you're using 2 spoons. The cons? Well, you may not have a uniform shape and size for each cookie, which could lead to a little bit of variability in baking. Second, to shape. Another way that you can place your cookie dough onto the cookie sheet is by shaping it. All we're gonna do for this is we're just gonna either use a spoon or a cookie scoop to get the dough out, and we are gonna roll it just like this. Place it right onto our cookie sheet. The nice thing about using a scoop when we do shape up the dough is that you do get an even, consistent size, but even if you're using a spoon, this will still work. And so just scooping it and rolling it, this is a really fun job for kids to do too. So if you scoop it, they can roll it. The other way that you can shape the dough is you can roll it into a ball and then actually square off the edges. So really you're just making a cube. What I like about this is as they bake up, the middle of the cookie actually bakes up really tall and they fall really nicely on the edges. And so you'll see that by putting them in cubes like this, you just get a little bit different shape after they're baked. And we can compare this to the rounded shaped cookie dough and see which result you like better. Here are the pros of shaping your cookie dough. It doesn't require any special tools in order to keep the cookies a uniform shape. I like to use a cookie scoop before I shape them. This is to help keep a uniform shape and size, but you could also use a spoon. There are very few cons to shaping your cookie dough, but if you don't like to touch the dough with your hands, you may not be a big fan of this method. Third, to scoop. If you've watched any of my other videos, you know that A, I like to keep things simple, and B, I really like a cookie scoop. And so the final way to place the cookie dough onto your cookie sheet is by using a cookie scoop. No, I am not being sponsored by the Cookie Scoop Company, although I do have a link below if you're interested in using this one that I am, which I really like. It's a 2 tablespoon cookie scoop, but I've got all different sizes in my kitchen. The nice thing about this one is that it has a release. All we're gonna do is simply scoop the cookie dough and place it right onto our cookie sheet. The nice thing about the cookie scoop, like I said before, is that it gives you a really consistent shape and size, and the cookies end up, when they are all the same size, baking up more consistently. The pros to using a cookie scoop? Well, consistency. They're all the same size, shape, and diameter. Also, a cookie scoop is really easy to use and doesn't require you to put your hands directly into the dough. The cons of a cookie scoop? Well, it requires a purchase, but the scoop can be used for cookies, ice cream, or melon, so we can make that a pro, right? So now we've got all of our cookie dough onto the cookie sheet, and it's about time to put them into the oven. We've got our scoop, our shaped, and then our dropped. And we're just gonna place them in the oven and we'll see what they look like when they come out. Great. It's time to compare. We have our dropped cookie, our 2 shaped cookies, round and squared, and our scooped cookie. Our drop cookie probably looks the most homemade, It is not perfectly round and has some nice ridged edges on the top. We can see our chocolate chips on top. We have a nice golden brown edge. This looks really nice. We have our 2 shaped cookies. This is probably our most perfectly round cookie of the 4. We can't quite see the chocolate chips in this cookie. It's because we used our hands to roll that together and our chocolate chips were more on the inside of the dough. But we do also have some golden brown edges on this cookie. Here is our cubed cookie. You can see we've got some layering in here because of how it was shaped into the cube. We also can see some chocolate chips coming through. As we cubed these and flattened our edges, our chocolate chips came through. And lastly, here's our scooped cookie. Our scooped cookie is nice and round, and it has some really nice texture on top. And this is really just a result of the fact that we simply scooped and we didn't have to touch it at all with our hands. And if you're looking for a perfectly rounded cookie, but it doesn't quite come out of the oven that way, here's a tip that could help. Using a large plastic cup, you're gonna place it upside down over your cookie as soon as it's come out of the oven. You're gonna gently swirl it around like this in a circular motion. So whether you choose to drop your cookie dough, to shape it, or to scoop it, the choice is really up to you, but I can guarantee it's gonna taste great no matter what you choose. And if you need to apply a little bit of movie magic to shape your cookies up after they've come out of the oven, you now know the trick. If you've got a trick you use in your own kitchen, we would love to hear about it. Be sure to drop it in the comments below and give us a like. And as always, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm Lindsay from My Better Batch. Happy baking. They look great.
Except you just burned your hand.